Hi, it's Mike Del Signore. I want to talk about some recent case results. I've had many clients recently found not guilty of OUI who had taken breath tests. Courts like Stoughton, Woburn, Salem. So in these courts and many others, we've had recent successes with breath test results. And you should know that if you take a breath test, it doesn't mean you can't win the case. The good thing is you get your license back soon. So you can get your license back within 30 days. So while we're fighting the case, you'll have your license and be able to drive. And sometimes these cases require a lot of work, a lot of motions and things like that. The breath test doesn't get excluded easily, but when we fight hard on this, many times I can get it excluded from evidence. I had a case possibly about 3 or 4 months ago now where I filed a couple motions to get the test excluded. And it wasn't until the day of trial that I was able to get the breathalyzer excluded for a different issue. So there are a number of legal issues and ways to contest the admissibility of a breath test. Sometimes it'll get excluded based on failure to comply with the 15-minute observation. I had a couple cases like that recently, one in Stoughton District Court and the other in Quincy. So when you have a breath test, you still can win the case. Now, that applies even if it's a second offense. Still, the same legal defenses apply regardless of the offense level. So what makes a breath test potentially inaccurate? You might have asthma, acid reflux. Your medical condition could affect the test. The officer might have administered it wrong. And sometimes the officers just don't comply with the rules and regulations to get these tests admitted. When it's on video, and most departments have video now, we see a lot of mistakes. And then another tactic is to show that there's other signs that are inconsistent with you being over the legal limit. In other words, the field sobriety tests, they rely on those tests. If you did well on those tests, if we could show that you substantially performed them, that's inconsistent with a breath test result. The observations, a video could show that you don't appear under the influence. You could testify that you didn't think you had too much to drink. So a breath test case is not a case that can't be won. Consider fighting it. In many cases, there's not much of a downside. First OUI, you're pretty much going to get the same resolution, whether you're found guilty or take the continuance without a fine. It's not a major difference. So understand that and consider your options, whether it makes sense for you to go to trial. My name's Mike Del Signore. I've been helping people since 2001 win OUI cases and make the best decisions for themselves. Be happy to help you. Call, text anytime, 781-686-5924.